Looks like we be streaming.
Just one more step, and then I'll let everybody in the room. Okay.
Yeah, ready to rock when you are.
Okay, here they go.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Friday Chief AI Officer Q&A update call. Um, Great to see some new faces joining us this week. So if you have not been to one of these calls before, we welcome you. Get started in just a minute. A few more people coming in. Want to welcome everybody who is joining us on our live streams. So, this call is part of our weekly call series that we do here at Chief AI Officer. We make the Monday call, the Monday tool call, and we make this Friday Q&A call available for public worldwide consumption without you having to be a member of our community. The other calls that happen during the rest of the week, on Tuesday we have a prompting call. Monday evening we have a governance call. Wednesday is the business blueprint call. Thursday is workflow automation. All those calls are available to people who are part of our AI Insider community, along with the recordings for all the calls that we do across the week. So if you are on a stream joining us today and you are not a member of our insider community and you would like to check that out, there is a $1 trial, gets you a 14-day access window, and you can go to chiefaiofficer.com/learn dash more. So again, it's chiefaiofficer.com/learn dash more. So great to see everybody here on this chilly uh, January, yeah, it's still January morning, afternoon here in Indiana, where I am. I hope it's sunny and warm or temperate wherever you are. Again, would like to welcome everybody who's joining us on this call. Great to see some new faces. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Wonderful to see you. And welcome to everybody who is joining us for the first time or as a repeat visitor on our live stream. So again, our AI Insider community gets you access to all of the calls during the week, and it gets you recordings for all the calls, along with so much more value of being a part of our community. So if you're not part of our community yet, please visit chiefaiofficer.com/learn dash more. My name is Lee Pomerantz. I am the Chief Marketing Officer here at Chief AI Officer, and I run this call. Our agenda today is really three items. So we're going to talk about what happened this week in our community. We're going to talk about what happened in the world of AI in general, and Q&A. This call is all about Q&A. We are here to answer your questions. This is an extremely supportive and giving community. The knowledge base that's contained within this community is phenomenal. So if you have a question on anything, please ask the question, because if you have it, chances are somebody else has that similar question and could gain value from whatever the answer is to that. So during this call, if you have a question, please raise your hand, or you can just come off mute and interrupt me and say, "Hey Lee, I got a question here." Or you can, as I said, raise your hand and we will get to you and address your question for you. So Q&A is one of the key features of this call, and one of the key benefits of us as a community, and we want you to take advantage of that. So let's get into the program and into the agenda here. I'd like to introduce everybody if you don't know her. Her name is Megan, and she is our community coordinator. I'm sure if you are on other calls, you will see her on those as well. Good morning, Megan, and like to get you to share some activities of what happened in Chief AI Officer world with us on the call.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for the hearts, Curtis. I love emojis. My screen is loading. Here we go. There's been a lot of new people popping into the community from the challenge. And so, if you are new and you're here watching, you likely have received a message from me that's just saying, "Hey, I'm the community coordinator. If you need anything, please let me know." So, message me anytime with anything that you need if you're trying to locate something or if you're trying to figure out how to use the community best. You definitely want to start over here on the new members tab. And just this week, so this post right here that you see in the channel will take you step by step through all the different areas and how you can utilize the community. But just this week, it's not loading. There we go. I recorded a video tutorial that will walk you through every area inside of the community and also the classes that we host every single day. So make sure that you check out this post, take a moment to watch the video. You can watch it on 2 times the speed if you need to. And then the other thing that you want to make sure that you do is download the Circle app on your phone, whether you have Android or iPhone. The app is available for both types of devices. And that way you can have the community at your fingertips no matter where you are. So that's my pointer for all the newbies that are here. And please, again, feel free to message me if you need anything. I'll be happy to point you in the right direction for your journey here. And as Lee already stated, this community is very involved, like the people who show up to the classes are contributing to each other's growth. We are not working in silos. We are all out here in the world doing our own things. We're learning something new in every single class. And as you go out there and you start to pitch to clients or make new connections, I think the thing that I hear most that is incredibly important for us all to remember is that if you are here in this community, you know more about AI tools, AI software, and how to implement them than most of the people out in the world. So if you are starting to consider, how do I work with clients or how do I pitch myself? Just know that you likely know more than they do. And so some of that is about positioning, some of it's about how you structure your pricing and your offers. Come to the classes, talk to the other people that are there. There are so many people here who are already out there doing the work, and you can ask them for advice. Amazing tips are provided for you to get started. So don't be shy. Don't hesitate to pop into a class. Even if you don't feel comfortable asking questions, coming off camera, there's a chat there where you can ask. You can message me privately. And there's also a tab inside of the community where you can ask questions and get feedback. And many of our members will respond to you and point you in the right direction. So you are in good company. We are here to help. You are not alone. And you know more than you think you know, I promise. So on the top of the leaderboard this week is Kim Hodgkinson. Congratulations. I don't think she's been in first place this month, so that's exciting to see. And then we have Steve Furman in second, Wayne Clayton in third, Karan in fourth, and Chris Duffy in fifth. So thank you guys. This leaderboard is an accumulation of the participation inside of the community. So if you've been making posts, liking posts, commenting on other people's posts, your points accumulate, and every week on Friday we highlight who the winners are. So congratulations and thank you for showing up and being here. This community would not be what it is without you, and we are incredibly grateful. So I think that's all on my end, Lee. I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Great. Thank you
And
so much, Megan.
yeah.
Um, just one quick programming note. We did not have our Monday call this week due to festivities that were happening and federal holidays that were happening here in the United States. So next week we will be back at our full schedule. So Monday calls will resume. And then we have two of those calls on Monday. We have the tool call in the early afternoon, and we have our AI governance call later in the day. So those will be back on schedule, and we are back at full schedule. Sorry about that. Got distracted by a squirrel. All right, so we're back on that. I'm going to do a quick share here. Oh, sorry, Curtis, you have your hand up there, sir. I didn't see that. How can I help?
No, that's okay. I'd like to, when you do the open forum, questions, comments, such, I got something I want to share to the point Megan made earlier about kind of where is everybody at in this journey. Came upon something that was really powerful yesterday, and I think it just reinforces the point of um, kind of where are we in this race, so to speak. But I'm gonna wait till you do kind of a open forum Q&A and such.
No, you've got the floor. Go,
I,
sir.
well, I got the floor, so I get to steal it. Okay. So, hi everybody. I'm Curtis Gilbert. For I guess a lot of folks I don't really know, but that's okay. I'm in Southern California. I've been on this journey about, I'm gonna guess, a year-ish, and of course, like many, jumped in there, swam around, started to drown, and then started to look for some friendly shores on how to really go about this. Um, One of the things that I experienced over the course of this whole thing is effectively analysis paralysis and being overwhelmed. And what I found particularly powerful on YouTube, and Lee, I'll share that with you. And I did yesterday. It's about an 8-minute video, and a guy did a really nice job of explaining his how he's gone through that. He's a Google product manager. He's pretty active. He's on YouTube, and he just talked about, he was suffering from the same thing we all are with all the shiny pennies, and here you are learning about this AI, and the next thing you know, another AI comes out, and you start asking yourself, oh my God, I need to forget about that, learn about this. And you kind of find yourself chasing your own tail, and feeling very overwhelmed and probably worse yet, discouraged. Um, so really kind of the main thing and Lee, I'll share it with you. You could take a look at it and then decide if you'd like to share it with the community. It's about an 8-minute little video, but it was really well done in explaining that kind of remember your most important value in all of this is your IP, the experiences you have, your intellect, your knowledge, your knowing who you are, what your unique point of view is, and so on. So that's the starting point. And then to remember that AI is really just kind of another tool in your tool chest. And to decide and pick the 3 or 4 tools, settle on those tools, set everything off to the side and learn those tools and start to begin to build what you want to build, irrespective of you're a hands-on guy or you just want to conceptualize a CAIO version or vision, I should say, for a company. So really a lot of words, but the main thing was to pick your tools, but make it foundational, like prompting, as a foundational skill. 1 or 2 tools that help you kind of cobble together solutions of some kind that begin to be your value prop. So why I say all that is because if any of you kind of scratching your head, and he says, I think the title of it is "Are You Too Late?" That was kind of, I think, the title. And I think a lot of us would certainly feel that we're, oh my God, I'm so far behind. But the reality is, to Megan's point earlier about if you're on this call, you're probably way further along than most. Um, but I'm going to share that video with Lee. I think the closing point on why I decided to say anything about it is because I consider myself a pretty smart guy, and if I'm feeling pretty struggling and frustrated, and oh my God, where am I ever going to catch up? Um, it was a little comforting to hear somebody who I considered pretty expert in this topic say, I'm feeling the same thing. And I just decided to stop paying attention to all the noise, build something, establish a competency, focus on the foundations, and then take on a new tool when it made sense. That's all I got, Lee. Hopefully that
I,
was.
I appreciate that, and this is exactly the forum to have this conversation. We had a little bit of a group therapy session last night on Chris's call, um, but no,
Yeah.
shared perspective is excellent for all of us. And Jonathan, you had your hand up, or I just saw you throw something in chat.
Yeah, I put it in the chat, but I'll say it sort of a thing. Find tools that are of great breadth, can do things that are useful and produce results for you, and get to know them really well and get really good at it. And I put it in the chat there. Don't look for a new tool until the ones you have can't meet your needs. Or if you discover that by accident, that's fine too. like as a CIO, you got to be careful of that because there are people trying to sell you new tools 20 times a day. So it doesn't mean you don't listen to them, but if you can't see a way it adds value, can solve a business problem, you could literally chase tools all day long, every day,
Yeah.
and never get anything done. So
Yeah.
avoid that trap.
Excellent point. And to both your point, Jonathan, and Curtis's, um, just get going with something. Take your domain expertise, your background, your experience, that you've got. Look for places where the things that you do can be accelerated by using some AI tools and just start using them. We all spend a lot of time thinking about starting to plan, maybe getting ready to actually do something sometime. And we can spend all day going down that, oh, there's just one more thing to learn. Oh, but I just need to take a look at this. Oh, but I just need to uh, see what this thing's about because that might be the magic key. There is no magic key. Pick some foundational tools, start using them, become fluent in them, and use them until, like Jonathan said, they don't meet your need anymore, and then go find something that might do that. The rate at which information and new tools and things are happening is, we've never experienced this as human beings. We've just never been through the curve that we're on right now, and that's why it feels so weird. Okay, we're used to things happening in a linear world. Guess what? We're living in an exponential world now,
And it's
and
exponential and in parallel.
and we're just not used to that. We're not wired for that. So that dissonance that you're feeling, that okay, that's this, and that's our lizard brain pushing back on what's going on.
Self-induced. It is all self-induced. It's
Yeah.
the
Say that,
it's
say
the
that again, please,
FOMO
Steve.
effect. The fear of missing out. It's the FOMO effect. It's
Yeah.
self-induced. It's all mindset. We are so far ahead of all these people. Just pick some good tools. You're right, Lee. And I would also suggest have some backups because like chat went down for an upgrade for half the day. So you should always have, more than one way to get something done if you really are relying on that tool or that tool set.
Lee,
Yeah,
I want
right.
to add one more thing on top of that. It's really funny, but I actually complained to ChatGPT one day, um, and decided to have a conversation with it, like a little bit of a shrink slash counselor, and it was really kind of funny the responses I got, and it was a little bit of a OMG, oh my God, like just the usefulness. It was actually a very productive conversation. It was kind of a complaint slash, hey, give me a strategy kind of conversation because this is driving me crazy. And I was quite surprised that it was very sentient, like in its response. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, I will say I have tried to test it that way and watched it wander into the wilderness. So I think you have to be careful because it's not perfect. It's not dealing with, you're not dealing with somebody that thinks like a human does. So,
Right.
and granted, I was leading it by the nose. So I just wanted to see if it would let me, and it did. So
All
it
all
was
good points.
fun, though.
All things that every one of us on this call right now can identify with 110%. So I really appreciate you bringing that up, Curtis. And Jonathan, your input's always very valuable. Tina, good morning or good evening where you are.
Good evening, Lee. Yeah, I just wanted to add to the conversation is what I find overwhelming is keeping up with all the predictions of what's going to happen with all the models and the vast sums of money being spent. I mean, how much attention are is everybody paying to that?
That's a
It's a great,
question.
that's a great
Are we
question.
paying to what?
To keeping up with all the developments in the actual models, this 2.3 has been released and OpenAI is doing this and they're investing so many billion in that, and there's just so much of that going on, especially on YouTube. I just wondered if others paid any attention to it or whether you just shut it off.
So I'll
There's an
say,
interesting, sorry,
go
there's an
ahead.
interesting thing happening in the investment environment at this point in time, and that is that there's more than $24 trillion available for investment, and people just want to give money away. And we are at this point in time at the same point where we were in 2000s in the just before the bubble. And the same thing is going to happen. It's in that cycle, in that same cycle, but people want to do that. So my suggestion to whoever can do, go out there, make use of all these things that are
Yeah, where do
available
we
out
find
there.
them? Where do we find all these people with all this money?
Yeah.
Well, you got to find the first thing to do is to find the project to develop a project that people can believe in.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea aspect comes from. And I believe we all have the ability to generate ideas from what we've got in every aspect of our lives, our businesses. There are certain things that we need, and there are other people that need exactly the same thing. And we've just capitalized on that one aspect of it, and we've just hit the jackpot. When I say hit the jackpot, it's not about hitting a jackpot, but it's about going out there, presenting that idea. Again, yeah, you're in America. This is a wonderful, or the most majority of people are in America, and that is where everything is happening.
Jonathan,
So,
mute, please. Sorry, background noise. It's hard to hear you, Jurgen.
Yeah, I'm
no
not sure
problem.
where that's coming from.
It was
Okay.
John. Sorry.
Okay.
It's probably me. There's people speaking in the background.
Okay. Jurgen, excellent point. Thank you for being here today. Always great to see you on the call and always great to hear what your input is. But Tina, that's a great question. Part of what I try to do on this call is highlight, kind of some of the things that are around the corner a little bit of what's coming. And there's just so much information. So, we're trying to present the context of this call is to sort of highlight some of that. We're looking around the corner for you. Here's some things that are coming. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to jump and take action on every little thing. And you'll notice that in my conversations or the topics that I tend to highlight and like what we're going to talk about today are bigger picture things. It's not necessarily, oh, this model has added this feature. I'm focusing on bigger picture things here that everybody may not be, catching in the news. It's hard to go chase all those little updates and changes and things like that. If you have some particular tools that are critical to your workflow and to the processes that you use in your daily life, then those would be important channels to pay attention to for updates and changes that are happening in those particular tools, because all of a sudden the tool may get better, or all of a sudden they changed a feature, and if it's something, if it's the hammer you're using every day, you want to make sure you can still hit the nail. So pay attention to updates on the critical tools that are in your toolbox. The other stuff, when there's breakthrough announcements, you'll hear it through the community. You'll see it posted in our community in the AI Insiders. You'll see it brought up here, possibly on this call. So those would be good ways to kind of moderate the information overflow or overwhelm that we all feel. I hope that's helpful. Is just, kind of how I do it, because I can't pay attention to everything. I am not a graphic designer. I don't use AI for design very much. I don't use it for video. I don't use it for audio. So I kind of don't pay attention to that world unless somebody comes out with something that's really earth-shaking, and then all of a sudden I'll go take a look and go, huh, let me see what that's all about. So that's just a model that I use. Jonathan. No, now you're
Maybe.
muted. There you
Yeah.
go.
So Tina, to answer your question, what I do is, like I said, first I get to use a tool really well. And I wait till I find a problem I can't solve, and then I go to the community and say, does anybody have a solution for this? And I don't pay for it. I try to use the free version first. I pay for just two, and it's very little. And I don't pay for something less. I absolutely can't do it another way, because for this discussion, you could pay for 20 tools and still not solve your problems. I would recommend, if you're trying to do this, rather than trying to keep up, look at the problem you're trying to solve, how it's going to help your business. And that's where you should focus your research. That would be my recommendation. But it's just one person's approach. It may or may not be the best one.
Appreciate it. And that's what this community is all about. Everyone has a perspective and an approach on something, and we're here to listen and share and pick the ones that resonate with us and deploy those, and discard the rest. Take what you like and leave the rest. So that's why we have such a diverse community and people at all different levels and experiences. Curtis, if you could send that link to Megan, we'll make sure that video gets attached to the show notes, please. And again, thank you for sharing that with us. Coach Andy, I use this group as the filter. That makes me feel really, really good, because that's what we're trying to do here. So thank you for that. And then, are there any other questions? Jonathan, you still got your hand up, so I'm going to assume no. All right, Steve.
Just real quick, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but I kind of have to. In the wind, somebody put a marketing, like a sales pitch, under the wins for the community section. That is just for wins, right? We are not. So, I mean, yes, we are going to pay each other money for your services. If you could do something I can't, I mean, that's kind of like a given. I would hire somebody from this group before I'd hire outside this group. But we're not supposed to be doing marketing to each other, correct? In the community?
We are not supposed to be pitching directly or through either in public or through direct messaging within this community and soliciting business. If that is something that you observe, please notify Megan or myself, and we'll get a handle on that. So there was something that popped up where somebody was offering a paid course, I think, within the last 24 hours, and that got taken down, and it was addressed on the fellows call that happened this morning. So there is a weekly fellows call where we look at, operationally what's happening in the community and across the program. So yes, we are encouraging people not to solicit either through messages that are posted for public consumption, and certainly not through direct messaging.
Right. I mean, we get enough spam in our emails.
Yeah. If that's happening, let us know, please.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And we're going to be developing some written community guidelines. Like many of you have seen when you join a group on Facebook, I agree to this, and this. So we're putting that in place. And again, the feedback that we get from the community is what makes this program better for everybody. So if there are no other questions, that was a great conversation. This is exactly the place where that kind of conversation needs to happen, and it doesn't break the agenda. So Curtis, I appreciate you raising your hand, coming off mic, and starting that. I think we all got value from that. I did, for sure. All right. So I'm going to jump over into a screen share, and I'm going to get into my the rest of my agenda here. Um, Important announcement. We have switched our challenge model. So we are now running our 2-day using AI at work challenge on a weekly basis. So we have evolved. We've had a 3-day version, 1-day version. We've had it once a month, twice a month. So what we're doing now and going forward until advised otherwise is that we will be running this challenge every week. Same days, Tuesday, Wednesday, same time, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we encourage you to please share this event, let people know about it. It's how many of you got into this community. So think about your path in, think about the value that you've gotten out of it, and help us share the word and get that out there. Tied into that is an opportunity for people to earn a portion of the revenue that happens when somebody signs up for certification program that we have. It's our affiliate program. Now that we are running the challenge on a weekly basis, our affiliate program becomes even more valuable because now you can do regular outreach to the people that are in your world, that are in your circle, and let them know. Just say, yeah, it's starting on Tuesday. So wherever you are in the week, you can tell people, go sign up. It's starting on Tuesday. You do not need to be a certified chief AI officer. You do not need to be a member of our AI insider community, although we would love you to be, in order to be an affiliate. So there's no charge to sign up. You can go to the homepage of chiefaiofficer.com, and down at the bottom is a link to our affiliate program. If you are thinking about this certification program for yourself and the finances aren't, quite working, the affiliate program, if you refer two or three people that you know who could join the program, two or three people gets your program, your certification paid for. So it's a way to get your certification itself paid for. It's a way to help support the community and help us grow. And we appreciate everybody that's in the affiliate program. Again, the challenge cycle has switched, and we're now doing it every week until advised otherwise. So we appreciate all the affiliates that we have. And we look forward to your participation in this challenge coming up as well.
Same link. Links don't change, right?
Yep, same link. Links don't change. I sent an email out last night to all the current affiliates with the updated information, so check your inbox for that. We are now at the wins of the week portion of our call. So this is an opportunity for people to share wins, something you learned, an aha moment that you had, a new client that you're working with, anything else. Megan, thanks for putting that in there. So if anybody has any wins of the week that they would like to share with the group, now's a great time to do that. Now's the exact time to do that. Not seeing any hands jump up this week. Jonathan, you got a win, sir.
Yeah, so Mark isn't here, so I'll speak for him. We've been collaborating on putting together some training, and we we haven't got all the paperwork signed, but we have a statement of work on the table to provide AI training to a company for 30 people at $850 a piece. So not a huge number, but a step in the right direction. And
Cool.
we did put together a webinar that we're not launching to the public today, maybe later today, where you can talk about how to get started with AI.
Perfect.
So for
Excellent.
the corporate world.
I'm aware what you guys are doing, and it sounds like the flywheel's starting to move. So excellent, and appreciate you sharing very much. Thank you. Terry, good morning.
Good morning. Pardon my voice. A win and a loss that gets pushed back for a win next week. I have started doing setting up my monthly just kind of the free lead magnet workshops, virtual trainings. Um, I had my first one that was scheduled last night. Yesterday, I had no voice whatsoever, and I had to move it to next Thursday. But I had 55 people who had registered. And again, primarily organic social media kind of marketing for that. A lot of the people who have already known me or had heard me train previously with SCORE. Again, SCORE is starting to pick up steam next week. I've got two presentations for SCORE, and then I've got one in February. And in March, SCORE has me set up to do a presentation for the Greater Houston Women's Chamber of Commerce. So that kind of relationship is starting to go. So again, like you said, just flywheel, it's starting to pick up. And the last thing I just want to reiterate, like everybody said earlier this morning, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I know Jonathan said, Steve said, a number of people have said, Curtis said, start with one thing. Get that one thing, get proficient in that one area, and then look at adding the next thing. Because even with that one thing, you are so far ahead of everybody else out there.
Hmm.
Are,
Thanks,
are
Terry. I
those
appreciate
any of
that.
those paid, Terry, or those just like you're doing gratis for like score to find executives or people that
So
will?
no, so the score is all going to be gratis. Of course, you can provide your information after because you can't do a solicitation when you're doing a score, webinar, or workshop, or something like that. But you can provide your information, for them to follow up with you, and even have like a little lead magnet for some information that they can opt into. Then, of course, I'm kind of following with what you're doing with my monthly workshop. It's getting people flowed into my training program is the
Yeah, I
goal
just
there.
haven't started charging for it yet, but that's gonna come soon. The one I do monthly is gonna stay gratis, and that's just a
Yeah,
lead.
same,
But then
same.
I'm gonna start adding in training where I actually
Yep,
do like hands-on. Here's your
yep,
homework for the week. Not exactly
yep,
like the challenge, but a little bit like the challenge kind of a thing.
yep. So
Cool.
let's connect and kind of compare with it.
All right, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate your input and always wonderful hearing your wins, Terry. It's an inspiration for all of us. Terry mentioned Score. I haven't mentioned Score on this call in a little while. Score.org, the link is in the chat. They're an organization that provides guidance and mentoring to businesses, typically small businesses, how to make the business better, sometimes how to start the business. And they have a program where you can reach out to your local SCORE chapter, and they're all across the country here in the United States. And you can say to them, hey, I'm an expert in AI, and I would like to be an AI subject matter expert or an AI mentor in SCORE. And there's a no cost to do that. There's a process that they put you through, and then they can start getting you in front of businesses that are looking for this kind of guidance and information. So score.org, we have a number of people in our program who have had good success in participating with Score on that, and haven't mentioned it in a while, so just want to, bring that back to you. Also, just wanted to encapsulate something that was just kind of said. A lot of times when you're starting a business, who's your customer? Oh, everyone needs this. Well, if everyone's your customer, no one's your customer. Okay. So figure out one problem to serve, to solve for one customer. So figure out what the problem is, figure out who has that problem, and focus on that. And that's a great way to start building your business. And instead of trying to do this for this person and that for that person, figure out what that one problem is, figure out who's got that problem and go after them. And the idea is that once you dominate that vertical, once you become an expert of solving that problem for those people, then you can expand horizontally. So once you can dominate vertically, then you can expand out horizontally. But keep that in mind. We can't do everything for everybody. If you try to do that, you'll do nothing for nobody. So
Riches are
word,
in the niches, as they say.
words spoken from an entrepreneur who has lots of arrows in his back and has
Lee,
spent
Lee,
and
is that
has
a tagline for you? I like that one. Did you hear what you said?
no
Do something for somebody or do nothing for anybody, for everybody, something like that.
if you do everything for everybody, you do nothing for nobody.
I think you got a good tagline there.
Yeah,
I'm not a business coach, but yeah, that would be
I
it's
approve.
wisdom.
I approve.
Yeah, it's a model that's out there. People, need to get focused in, and then you can also tune out the noise that way. You can also, that's a way to filter out the noise of, does this tool or does this company announcement pertain to the problem that I'm solving or the people that I'm solving the problem for, the people that I serve? And if the answer is no, then you can filter that out. So it's a gatekeeper on the information overload that we're all dealing with every day. All right, let's get into some news. Go back over here and do a screen share. Lots of stuff happened in the world of AI this week. Oh, what a surprise. All right, so let's start off with an announcement that happened earlier this week. So President Trump announces a private sector 500 billion, that's with a B, investment in AI infrastructure. So the goal here is to make sure that America is staying competitive with our rivals. The name of this initiative is Stargate, and the Stargate venture involves OpenAI. So Sam Altman was at the announcement with the president. SoftBank, the leader of SoftBank, whose name I don't recall, yep, it's in there somewhere. And Larry Ellison, who's the leader of Oracle, is there, and they're projecting that this will create 100,000 U.S. jobs. I think there's going to be a lot of jobs in building out these data centers and building out the power systems that supply these data centers. Data centers by themselves are not typically huge employers. The somebody, Facebook or Google. Google's building a data center in my backyard. They have a 900-acre piece of land that they're going to be building 12 buildings on. This is a $3 billion investment in my community. There will be about 42 full-time jobs when this is all said and done. So data centers are typically not huge employers. So when the president talks about 100,000 jobs, I think there's a lot of construction and ancillary and related jobs that are feeding into that. There's an immediate deployment of 100 billion is planned, and there is already the first data center in this Stargate process program that is going up in Texas. And this effort comes as Trump rolls back previous AI regulations addressing energy demands of AI data centers. So in the United States here, we've had an administration change. We're going to see former policies get rolled back. We're going to see new policies get engaged, and we're going to see a lot of real interesting drama as I continue in the news here about what's going on in the world. Now, notice the picture on my screen. You've got some very powerful people in the AI space, but who's missing? Well, Elon's
Elon
missing.
Musk.
So Elon was not at that particular announcement, interestingly enough. And Elon has also sent out a message dissing a little bit, if you will, the announcement, basically calling out that, some of the people that were part of that announcement don't really have the money. But the the situation here is that you know Elon has an interesting position with the government. There's a relationship with Donald Trump, and Elon also certainly has his own business interests with Tesla, which is basically and always has been an AI company, an XAI, and everything else. So Musk's exclusion from this announcement was interesting and got some people to raise their eyebrows. Um, the news that's coming out is, don't worry about that. Elon's on board, even though he said, some questioning about it. Elon can, uh, he's a very powerful person. He has a lot of influence and growing influence in the government. He was able to shut down a bill in the fall, I think in the House, that was, I don't remember what it was on, but he basically tweeted, I'm not for this, and it got shut down. So who's driving the bus?
Well,
Not
doesn't he
really
have enough to
sure.
do already? Isn't he supposed to go to Mars? I mean, just like throw a little bit of build out infrastructure. I mean, if you step back and look at the whole thing, that's a pretty big
Yeah,
effort in itself.
he's got things going on, but noticeable that Elon was not at the meeting where the AI infrastructure rollout was announced. And the infrastructure is important. I mean, we need to build this, we need to do this to be competitive in the race. This brings me up to the next news item. So, Sam Altman, who is the head of OpenAI and who was at this meeting, there he is, right there. So there's rumors bouncing around. Sam Altman has a meeting scheduled on January 30th to discuss an AI agent designed for complex human tasks. Some rumors have been floating around that this particular AI has PhD level intelligence. There's been discussion about the large language model companies needing to share what they're doing. I don't know if it's needing in terms of a regulation per se, but they need to be showing the government what they're doing before they put some of this stuff out on the market. So there's this balance of information exchange that's developing. So interestingly, there is this meeting coming up on January 30th, in a couple of days, with Sam Altman to meet with U.S. officials on what's cooking at the OpenAI labs. Now, question. Will Elon be in the room at that meeting? I'm betting he will. And you can go back online and you can look, but there's a big beef between Elon. He was one of the original founders of OpenAI. He then went off and did his own thing. But there's a big, very public spat between Elon and Sam. They haven't been in the same room with each other for years. I'm guessing that this meeting that Sam's having, Elon will be there, and oh, to be a fly on the wall and to see what might be happening in that meeting. So we'll see what's going on, but just really interesting to see what the politics of AI is, because Elon's got a very specific agenda for AI that supports his view. There are other companies like Google and Amazon, and Microsoft, and Meta. And by the way, who was sitting on the stage during Trump's inauguration? Well, it was the head of Meta and the head of Amazon and the head of Microsoft were, two rows behind the president during the inauguration. So there's a lot of jockeying for position here going on. The good news is that the administration realizes and recognizes that, yes, this is important stuff to be doing in terms of AI. It's important for us as a national security position. It's important for us in a competitive position. So it'll just be interesting to see how this drama, and a lot of it is can definitely be soap opera. So we'll see what all this drama is all about. There were rumors that this meeting that Sam Altman was going to be having on the 30th was about some secret project called Operator. And guess what, everybody? Yesterday, OpenAI announced Operator. So, Operator is a new AI-driven agent capable of performing web tasks. So now we're getting into AI controlling what's on your computer using a browser. It's in research preview for pro users in the US. Now, this is really important, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. We're all hearing about agents and agentic and agentification and everything else like this. A little while ago, Anthropic, in their Claude model, showed some capabilities of control of a computer through the AI. This has been expected and anticipated. Again, there were rumors that Sam's going to show them Operator, and well, guess what? Here it is. Operator's here. So let's look at some of the things that are involved with Operator. And there's lots of YouTube out there. This is the link that I shared would be the OpenAI announcement, but there's tons of YouTube. Everybody's jumping all over this and testing it and playing with it. So what is Operator about? Capabilities. It can handle repetitive tasks such as filling forms, ordering groceries, or creating memes, and integrates seamlessly with human-like interfaces. What's the technology? The power behind Operator is called Computing Using Agent, CUA, and it's combining ChatGPT 4's vision capabilities with advanced reasoning via reinforcement learning. What kind of functionality? Operator can see and interact with web pages, making its own decisions, but asks users to intervene for sensitive tasks requiring personal data. User feedback. The preview phase, which is where it's been released. So again, US people on Plus subscriptions have access to this now. I haven't played with it yet, but the preview phase intends to collect user feedback to reflect operators' capabilities and ensure safe and effective deployment. What kind of collaboration has OpenAI been doing? Well, they're collaborating with companies like DoorDash, Instacart, and public sectors such as the city of Stockton, California, for exploring civic use cases. Let's talk about safety. There are user controls with three layers of safety, such as takeover mode for sensitive data input, user configurations, and task limitations. So this is uh, yes, the note here is just Pro. If I said Plus, misspoke there. It is just the Pro subscription. Thank you, Dea. So safety measures, this thing can control my computer. Yeah, I'm not 100% comfortable with that. So how do I, make sure that this is okay? Now we're seeing it's the other way around. It's Pro, not Plus. Okay. Yeah, it's in the Pro version. So data privacy is an important feature. Operator provides privacy features enabling users to delete browsing data and opting out of data training contributions. Security, it uses cautious navigation and a monitoring model to detect malicious web activities. There are some limitations. Operator is still evolving with known challenges in handling complex interface and requirements to look at continuous improvements based on user feedback. And of course, there's lots of user plans for the roadmap on this. So this is a big announcement in the agent space. It's here, it's out, people are using it and playing with it. And I want to just confirm that
Has anybody tried it by
it's in the
chance?
pro. It's in the press release. Yeah, the press says it's in the pro version. So let me be clear on that. It's not Plus, it's Pro, which is the $200 a month subscription.
Hmm.
Of course it
I
is.
don't I
Yeah.
don't know
So
if
if you
anybody.
you guys, if you go in it and you say you want to try it, it's going to ask you for your name and your birth date, and then it's going to give you the option to upgrade to Pro if you want to try it. So just so you realize, it'll prompt you for more money. So if you don't
Yeah.
have the Pro.
I learned with N8N last night how to do all this stuff anyway, so I'm good.
The yeah, I mean, all of the large language model companies are still figuring out pricing. I think Microsoft just pivoted to some sort of a consumption-based pricing model, and how you're going to make that work in a corporate environment, I have no idea. No corporation is going to buy something that has variable pricing baked into it. So we'll see what's happening. Matt just posted some news about some updates regarding citations that's happening in Anthropic. So yes, things are moving all over the place, and I'm here to bring you some of the top pieces of the news. Next up, just want to make you aware that the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has released their January 2025 research paper on artificial intelligence and what their strategy.
Mm,
We know that there's been a lot of, buzz when ChatGPT came out and all these language models and their training on data and copyrighted data and what are the laws around that. So there's been kind of silence from this office for quite a while, but they have put this document out where they're talking about how they're going to use AI for improving patent examination, expediting trademark
mm,
registration, and enhancing customer service. So these are all guidelines regarding AI inventorship, copyright issues for AI generated content, and use of copyrighted data in AI training. So there's no new policies that have come out regarding copyright and AI, but it's noted in this document that it's something that's part of their strategy that they're going to be working on.
mm,
Okay. Um, the report talks about workforce development and AI literacy programs, international collaboration. There's always been some disconnect between U.S. copyright and trademark laws and overseas laws. Every company kind of, does their own thing. The report talks about ethical and transparent AI use, ethical guidelines and transparency measures for AI operations at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Again, this is internal, and their commitment, which shows dedication to maintaining IP integrity and supporting innovation amidst all these AI advancements. So I haven't scanned through it. I saw the headline and I was like, oh, good, some guidance on trademark and copyright, but nah, no such luck. So the document is out there. They have a strategy, which I guess is
mhm.
better than a concept of a plan. So at least there's something that they've published. Curtis, what's that?
Yeah, so it's maybe a takeaway for the next call. One of the things that you see in all the monies being spent, as we talked earlier, there's three types of people on the call. There's entrepreneurs, pure and pure, with their business. There's people that are being displaced, reinventing themselves, like myself, in the way of just getting onto the new train, and then there's the person who's just curious. But all that said, I'm curious, have you seen anything that's starting to kind of frame the programs and such that are out there for people in the mode of, say, reinventing themselves? And I'll give you a perfect example. When I left aviation, they had a program through the EDD department that basically I was able to go to training for 6 months. And in those 6 months at the other end, I was certified in a particular technology, Microsoft. But my point is, are you seeing anything that's starting to speak to like where the monies are and the direction for people kind of moving into this? And really the main thing here is the other side of this is there's going to be more people getting let go here soon enough in the government, right? So you're going to have a sea of people competing for these old roles. Are you seeing anything so far that says this is where the opportunities are going into the
So,
future and so on?
yeah, great question. So, I don't think society at large is talking enough about the displacement that's going to be happening. Um, I don't think the United States government, other governments around the world, but I don't think the United States government, there are no programs that I'm aware of, Curtis, like what you talked about regarding upskilling and reskilling that's going to need to happen in our workforce as this change happens. And guess what? The change is going to happen sooner than everybody thinks. And it's going to have a bigger impact than everybody thinks. And nobody's talking about it. So the fact that all of you are here on the call, kudos to you. we're on the front edge of this. We're observing what's happening in the world. We're taking action in our own personal lives to educate ourselves, to upskill and reskill and plug into what's going on going forward. But no, I'm not aware. I have not read or heard or seen any kind of program on a federal, state, or local level yet that specifically speaks to this. So and sometimes, oftentimes, unfortunately, governments don't react proactively. They react when the problem's hitting them in the head. So I think we're going to see displacement. I think we're going to see agitation in society before the government says, okay, here's some programs that we can, deploy to moderate this impact. These are my opinions. Okay, I'm not an expert in this space. Please feel free to do your own research, but I try to share some of the research. I shared the World Economic Forum paper on the call last week. So I'm trying to share with our community what research organizations are saying is going to happen. OpenAI has released a job impact report. The World Economic Forum has released. So there are organizations that are thinking about this and publishing content to bring this topic to the forefront, but I'm not seeing it at the government level. So great question, Curtis. I appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe you guys
Jurgen, thank you. Yes, please. Jurgen has a link to share in the community from a gentleman named Mark Moss. Um, Coach Andy, spot on. I don't see churches thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a whole lot of need for support services for people that are going to be going through this transition. And like I said, it's going to be here before I think everybody realizes it, and it's going to be probably more disruptive than people realize. Jonathan.
I also think there's a fair chance. I agree with what you're saying, Lee. I don't think they'll realize it till they get smacked in the head with it. But I think it's going to take longer and be harder than people think it is. Having worked in that bureaucracy, um, it is, and what President Trump is doing is absolutely needed because it's so big. And there are so many people who are doing nothing but feathering their nest to get themselves more power. Um, I think there are going to be legal challenges. I think there are going to be lots of things that happen to this. And the people who are smart will get out early. The people who are not are just hanging on. I also think, though, thing we haven't considered is there are a lot of people there that just breathe in the air, aren't really doing anything day to day. And I can name a dozen right off the top of my head.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there's going to be a lot of retirements. People already have retirement from the military and retirement from the civil sector. So I think that that's going to put strains in other places we haven't even begun to measure.
Yeah, and I think that what Curtis was talking to is um, there's going to be a lot of people exiting government that are going to maybe be jumping into this space. And,
Uh,
you know,
Government people aren't known for wanting to learn new things.
all right. Let's keep, yeah. And again, folks, I'm not doom and gloom. Okay. I think on the other side of this transition that we as a society are going through, I'm optimistic. I have to be. I've got three boys that are, in their late 20s, early 30s. So they're coming into a different world. And I am optimistic. I think that, there will be a net positive to jobs. I think there will be a net positive to the economy when the dust settles on all of this. But I also think it's going to be a rocky ride for a little bit. My opinion, certainly do your due diligence, do your research. There's lots of people out there. There's a lot of YouTube content out there. Just job impact, AI impact on jobs, and you'll see a lot of stuff. But people are pretty much aligned that, it's going to have some significant impact. Okay, on that note, let's get back to something that's funny because after that, I need a laugh. Um, Curtis, you're such a downer, man. All right. This is fun. Am I sharing my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this was fun. Everyone's familiar with Notebook, and the audio overview that Notebook does. So this is kind of a fun thing. This is from the Notebook LM Lab, and it says, after we launched interactive audio overviews, which let you call in and ask the AI hosts a live question, we had to do some friendliness tuning because the hosts seemed annoyed at being interrupted. So this is from somebody in the Notebook
Can't make
LM
this up.
lab. Yeah, you can't make this up, this
That's
this
awesome.
this falls under the category of emergent capabilities. These models can do things that we don't know that they can do, and maybe just act in ways that we're not predicting. And that's why they have these red teams that try to, set up alignment and guardrails and make sure they're not going to blow up the world. But this was great. This was great. I got a good laugh out of this that the hosts were getting annoyed with the new call-in feature. They felt that their turf was getting stepped on a little bit. And then the last news item before I get into call overviews for this week, we are coming up at the top of the hour. I want to respect everybody's time. This call is scheduled for 90 minutes. If you need to leave, I appreciate it and want to wish you a wonderful weekend and thank you for being on the call today. If you can hang out, we're going to go maybe another 15 minutes. If you do need to leave, please catch the recording for the last items. And again, appreciate everybody that was here. Appreciate everybody that contributed on the call today. Always great conversations that happen out of this. So the last news item before I get into call updates, and call updates will actually be brief this week because we didn't have calls on Monday. This is an interesting post that was in LinkedIn, and this talks about some comments that Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella made, and he's predicting that AI agents will soon replace traditional SaaS business apps. Now, we all know how intertwined SaaS is in our lives. Everything we do is a subscription these days in order to do it. But what Sachet was talking about is that business logic is shifting to AI, making traditional back-end systems potentially redundant. And keep in mind who's saying this. This is Sachet at Microsoft. They sell SaaS. They're in the SaaS space. Word, Microsoft 365 is a SaaS product. So he goes on to say that intelligent agents, rather than static applications, may become the primary interface for business operations. AI's rise is significantly altering tech interactions and has major implications for marketing. AI can automate marketing campaigns, personalize messaging, manage customer journeys, and enhance data analysis. This shift, termed AS, and this has been presented on our call previously, but AS, which stands for Agents as a Service. So that's capital A, small a, S. So instead of SaaS, AS,
Yes.
Agents as a Service. I don't know if that's going to stick or not, but it offers challenges and opportunities for marketers and investors. Marketers need to adapt and embrace AI as a collaborator to gain competitive advantages. SaaS is not obsolete, but it's going to need to rapidly evolve due to AI advancements. So this is the head of Microsoft saying SaaS, maybe not so much anymore. always bringing you the news. So that's the news items that we have for you today. Any questions, comments? Anybody have their hand up or anything? I'll take a look here. Any questions on what I covered? Any questions on anything else that I can help you with? And then if not, we're just going to get into our calls. So appreciate everybody who's sticking around. Waiting for the spinning wheel to get this on my screen. Come on. Oh, you're waiting for me to log in. Okay. Ditch this browser for a second. Give me 1 second. We'll get over here and get into Video Vault. Okay, so if you're a member of our AI Insider community, you have access to all of the calls that are recorded. For some of the new people on the call here, I've also shown how you can pick a topic. So AI tools, consulting, prompting, workflows, governance. You can pick a topic, click the button, and now here are all the calls for that particular topic. So if you want to do a deep dive and some binge watching on governance, here's a quick way to do it. If you want to get ramped up on automation and workflows, here's a quick way to do it, and so on across all of the other topics. So as a benefit for being in our AI Insider community, you have access to all of these recordings in addition to being able to be on the calls that are not gated and when we do those live. So again, we did not have our Monday real world AI tool call. We did not have our Monday understanding AI governance call. Those calls will be back on the schedule next week. So we look forward to seeing you there then. We did have our Tuesday prompting essentials call. This is led by Segovia Smith. He's our chief operating officer and our chief product officer. On the Tuesday call, Segovia talked about unlocking the power of AI assistants and custom GPTs. So the call emphasized, as I said, custom GPT modules for specific projects. Segovia also went over in good detail new requirements for the capstone project. So if you are thinking about getting into the certification program or you're in the certification program, the capstone requirement is the project that you need to do at the end. And we have further detailed and explained what that process is so that it's more uniform for everybody. And Kerry here is saying Segovia's capstone requirement was fantastic. Appreciate that. So the capstone project, it's like if you're in an MBA program, a capstone project is typically required at the end to prove your subject matter expertise and proficiency, similar that we're doing with our program here as well. So Segovia talked about custom GPTs that assist in the brainstorming and automate the grading with human oversight for people that submit their capstone projects. He said there is some consideration internally for annual certification renewal to maintain skill relevancy. Now, what does that mean? So right now, if you sign up for the certification program, it's a one-time fee. We all know, we've talked about it on this call, how much is changing and how fast it's changing. And we want to make sure that the certification designation that we're giving to people that have gone through our program stays valid. So very much like teachers and lawyers and doctors and accountants need to go to school on an annual basis to get continuing education credits to maintain their certification. We're thinking something similar. It's not fully baked out yet, but it just we are thinking about it, and it's critical in the space that we're in. Again, we talked about it today with how fast everything is changing. So you could get your certification tomorrow, and in 6 months, a lot of it could be outdated. So we're looking at that and working on that. Prompt Vault Studio is also discussed as Segovia's uh, one of his pet projects, one of his deep loves. So if you are not if you don't have a Prompt Vault Studio access, you can go to promptvault.studio/begin, and that is free. It's part of the AI Insider program, and it is part of the certification program. So that's what happened on the prompting call on Tuesday with Segovia. On Wednesday, we had our AI consulting business blueprint call with Wayne Clayton, who's one of our fellows here as well. Wayne owns an agency. He's out there and he's pivoted fully into the AI space. So Wayne is sharing with us for people who want to, coaches and consultants who want to add AI to the services they bring to the people they serve, for people that are looking to exit their current position and become AI coaches or consultants or agencies or practitioners. A lot of labels we can put on that, but the Wednesday call is all about how to do that. He talked about the prospecting activities and the need to have multi-channel prospecting, phone, meeting, email, social media. He talked about a structured outreach to sequence. So it takes multiple touches to get people to engage with you. So how do you do that? He talked about building a professional online presence, your website, basically your brochure. How are people going? You know, that's the first thing people do. They're going to go check you out online, and your online presence and your LinkedIn profile have to be dialed in, because people are taking 3 seconds to go, yes or no, to continue on and to determine whether you're, valid and worthy of their additional brain cycles to learn more. He talked about using AI tools to demonstrate value to clients, how he's noticed a change in the marketplace over the last week or so since we have a new administration in process, that businesses are kind of saying, okay, we know what the deal is going to be for the next 4 years. Let's move ahead on some of these initiatives that maybe we were holding back on. And just his last item was persistence. Persistence is key in overcoming prospecting challenges. So you need to have at bats, you need to have reps. So just, get out there, stop studying and thinking, and just start having those conversations, see what the feedback is, and modify what you're doing based on that. So always a good call. Again, if you're in that track, if you're, like Curtis said, someone who's getting into this and looking to start a business, we specifically have the Wednesday call, which is all about how to do that. And then last night, so we had our workflow automation call hosted by another one of our fellows, Chris Lannon. These are always interesting and exciting calls. The call last night, Chris talked about automating with N8N. That's the letter Nancy, the number eight, the letter Nancy, N8N, which is a no-code automation platform similar to Make. Make.com is one that we've talked a lot about on the call. N8N is a new one. And what Chris did on the call was a bit of a deep dive. He's just starting to get ramped up on it himself. So it was kind of a mutual learning call. The takeaways here is N8N is a no-code automation platform, which it has integration of AI agents, and it has the potential to greatly enhance workflow management by enabling dynamic, intelligent automation of business processes. So companies out there are leapfrogging each other. So, Make's got these features, and now N8N's got these features, and you can be sure that Make's going to catch up, and Zapier and other platforms like this as well. So N8N facilitates AI-driven workflow management. AI agents can access tools, remember context, and make decisions. And Chris demonstrated some of that last night. It automates tasks like emailing, document updates, and data retrieval. Offers a web-based no-code interface, so it's click, drag, drop. You're not having to get in and, write Python code and things like that. And then Chris demonstrated some dynamic decision making with OpenAI's language model using N8N. So, like all of the calls, when you look at the summary on the call in Circle, you will get a list of all of the resources that were discussed on that call. So if workflow and automations and learning about another new tool, again, if it doesn't fit what you're doing right now, be aware of it that, okay, yeah, N8N, that may come up in a conversation with a client. So just be aware of it and what it is and what it does, but you don't have to be a subject matter expert and necessarily, get in there and do the deep dive and become an expert on every platform, as we talked about in the call. So I'm going to quick scan. Megan, is there anything in chat that did not get my attention?
Not that I saw, no. I think you got
Okay.
everything.
We always want to make sure if you have questions in chat that they're getting addressed to your satisfaction before we get off these calls. So, all right, great, everybody. I appreciate you all for being here. I love doing these calls. I have a lot of fun. I hope you can hear that enthusiasm in my voice. This is excitement. This is exciting. A lot of things are moving and moving fast. As a lifelong learner, I find this very engaging because there's always new stuff to learn and new stuff to know. But at the same time, I've got to meter that. I've got to throttle that and say, am I going to spend all day being a lifelong learner, or am I actually going to go out there and do some things with this stuff? So that's the balance. And we talked about that today. So that was a really good conversation. And again, Curtis, appreciate you bringing that up at the start of the call. So any last minute comments, questions, anything else? All right, I'm going to cut you loose. Go enjoy your weekend. I appreciate everybody who stayed through the end of the call with us. We will see you next week. The Monday call series will be picking up, and I look forward to seeing all of you again on the call next Friday. And to all of the new faces that are on the call, thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you on future calls as well.